20. "Do you drink wine?" said Azaire, holding a bottle over Stephen's glass. "Thank you." Azaire poured out an inch or two for Stephen and for his wife. "So, what do you know about textiles?" Azaire was only 40 years old, but could have been 10 years more. His eyes had an alert, humourless glare. "A little," said Stephen. "I've worked in the business for nearly 4 years, though mostly with financial matters. My employer wanted me to understand more of the manufacturing process." Azaire began to talk about the difficulties he had had with his workforce. He owned a factory in town, and another a few miles outside. "The organisation of the men into their syndicates leaves me very little room for manoeuvre. They complain they're losing their jobs because we've introduced machinery, but if we cannot compete with our competitors in Spain and England, then we have no hope." Madame Azaire had not fully engaged Stephen's eye. In return he avoided hers, but within his peripheral view fell the sweep of her strawberry chestnut hair, caught and held up off her face. She wore a white lace blouse with a dark red stone at her throat. As they finished dinner there was a ring at the front door, and they heard a hearty male voice in the hall. Azaire smiled. Good old Bérard, on the dot as usual. "Monsieur and Madame Bérard," said the maid as she opened the door. "Good evening to you, Azaire. Madame, delighted." Bérard, a heavily set man in his 50s, lowered his lips to Madame Azaire's hand. His wife, almost equally well-built, kissed the children on the cheek. They were dismissed and the Bérards installed in their place. Azaire seemed rejuvenated by their arrival. "Brandy for you, Bérard?" "And for you, madame, a little tisane. Now then, before you go any further," said Bérard, holding up his hand, "I don't like to bring you bad tidings, but the dyers have called for a strike to begin tomorrow." Bérard, in fact, appeared to have enjoyed delivering the news. Azaire cursed the workforce and asked how they expected him to keep his factories going. Stephen and the women were reluctant to give an opinion, and Bérard seemed to have no further contribution to make on the subject. "So," he said, "a strike of dyers. There it is. There it is." This conclusion was taken by all, including Azaire, as the termination of the subject. "How did you travel?" said Bérard. "By train," said Stephen, assuming he was being addressed. "It was a long journey." "Ah, the trains," said Bérard. "What a system! We are a great junction here. Trains to Paris, to Lille, to Boulogne. Tell me, do you have trains in England?" "Yes." "Since when?" "Let me see, for about 70 years. Bérard smiled happily. "So there it is. They have trains now in England." The course of the conversation depended on Bérard. He took it as his burden to act as a conductor, to bring in the different voices and then summarize what they had contributed. "And in England you eat meat for breakfast every day," he said. "Imagine, dear Madame Azaire, roast meat for breakfast every day." Bérard invited his hostess to speak. She declined, but murmured something about the need to open a window. "Perhaps one day we shall do the same, eh, René?" "Oh, I doubt it," said Azaire, "unless one day we have the London fog as well." "Oh, and the rain," laughed Bérard. "It rains 5 days out of 6 in London, I believe." He looked towards Stephen. "I read in a newspaper that it rained a little less in London than in Paris, though." 5 days out of 6, beamed Bérard. "Can you imagine? And how have you passed this beautiful spring day, dear madame?" Bérard again invited a contribution from his hostess. This time Madame Azaire addressed him directly. "This morning I was out doing some errands in the town. There was a window open in a house near the cathedral, and someone was playing the piano." Madame Azaire's voice was cool and low. "It was a beautiful thing, though just a few notes. I wanted to knock on the door and ask whoever was playing it what it was called." Monsieur and Madame Bérard looked startled. Azaire spoke with the soothing voice of one used to such fancies. "And what was the tune, my dear?" "I don't know. It was just a tune like Beethoven or Chopin." "I doubt it was Beethoven if you..."